he's one of those personalities. They're selling how to do sales, basically, right? And so I clicked on it, and I, expressed interest or whatever, and hit the message, whatever, to just see, like what does he give away? What information might I be able to glean from what he actually offers before he asks me for some money, right?
Right.
Anyways, or before his, machine asked me for money. And so I clicked on it, and then the first thing, it's his program responds to you right away as if it's in his voice, right? So yeah. You're supposed to think you're talking to a person. And so after a few messages back and forth, it asks you certain questions, and there's yes, no, and they do it all really well. And then it leads you to, like, have you read my book yet? And I said no. And so they immediately, like, you don't even get to respond to it. If you say no, if you click on the no button, it sends you to the link so that you can order the book.
Right.
And it's a free book and whatever, but I started filling it out, and it was only for in the States. There was no option for Canada. And so I went back to the message thing and I said, I'm in Canada, but it just sort of keeps sending me other options for getting free stuff that really isn't going to lead me anywhere.
Right.
And so that's great. So I just stopped responding. In the meantime, it's sent me about 4 emails because it has all of that information from my Facebook page, but it sent it to both my business and my personal email. And it keeps sending them. Holly, can I please have your phone? Well, I mean, they have my phone number anyways, because if, it's on my Facebook page, but, so I'm surprised I haven't received a text anyway, and it just keeps going and going and going. And I don't get a good vibe off this guy anyway, but now I'm really like, frig, man, like, give me some space. I don't want your free stuff.
Yeah.
But he is a millionaire, and he is a very successful business person. And this is how you get people in. You annoy them to the point where, they see free, and often enough times in your email that they click on it, and eventually you get some money out of them somehow or other, right? Like, so it's kind of like, do you do the push? Do you do the fake followers? Or the fake, not organic followers? Do you do all of that? Or do you just be genuine and go about it the slow and steady route?
No, I know. And that was one thing that I struggled with when I was trying to create a holistic nutrition coach business. Because I did the same thing. I clicked on this coach Carl or whatever his name was, and it was the same thing, like the messages. Yeah. It felt like you were talking to him specifically, but really it's just automated based on your answers. Yeah. And I had hundreds of emails in my junk mail folder saying, like, why haven't you responded yet? And hey, we're missing you, and you haven't whatever. And I had to unsubscribe because it was just driving me crazy. And I'm the kind of person where if you push and push and push, I'm totally turned off. Like, I am not, I don't want anything
I have since
to do with
unsubscribed to this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I feel pushing people and being like in your face is just going to push people away, because that's how I respond to it.
Me too.
But I mean, obviously it works. It's for some.
And Andrew Cameron and I talked about this too on one of the radio shows, about like newsletters, when you sign up for a newsletter, and or no, maybe it wasn't Andrew, maybe it was Caleb. Anyways, perhaps it was both. But you sign up for something, or you want information about something, but you have to fill in your email information before you can even access the website, or like whatever it is. And then of course you get all these emails from this company that you don't want, and so, or you sign up unwittingly to their newsletter. I never intentionally sign up for a newsletter because I know I'm just not going to read them.
Right.
So, but then you get these links, you get these emails and all these updates and stuff, and it's like, I don't see a lot of value in that personally. Right. Now, as a professional, there are lots of people who do see value in sending that stuff out. I know that, but for me personally, on a personal level, if I am getting newsletters or updates or whatever, I just unsubscribe right away, because to me, that's all junk mail.
Yeah.
But that's me. A lot of people seem to like getting newsletters.
And then there's the flip side of that. So I do the social media for Cumberland Public Libraries, and I'll do posts I post every day about what's happening that day. The beginning of the month, I post about what's going on for the whole month. And we still get people saying, well, I didn't know this was happening.
Yeah.
And then for like the girls are in cheer and I help coach that. And the 2 head coaches have a Facebook page for cheer, and they send out newsletters and emails, and they have parent meetings when something big's coming up, and they still have people saying, well, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
So then you're like, well, maybe you need to be annoying so that people are aware of things that are going on with your business or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
How do you get into people's heads in the way that they want to receive you?
Right.
And it's hard with Facebook posts because they might see it but then forget. So unless they actively go in and like, save that post or save, if it's a picture of a poster that you do or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or even just take a screenshot or write it down, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Then it's not easy to find after a while because it moves down in the scroll. It's not like an active calendar. And if you put it on a website, they have to actively go and look for it. It's not like it's being sent to them. But if it's in a newsletter and they don't want to open it, like me, I don't know. How do you reach people? This is what I do for a living. Oh, right. I'm supposed to have the answers. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Topic.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
That's all right. We can weave back. All right. So I said somebody. So who
DM
comes?
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. So who comes to mind for you next?
For me.
Who came to mind first? What was the first person just now?
I guess my mom.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, like we said when I came in, your parents are going to have an impact on you, and it can be positive, it can be negative, depending on the relationship that you have with them.
Yeah.
It could be both. And so I mean, just generally, and I actually emailed myself so that I'd remember because I can't remember anything. For my mom, I mean, growing up and even now, she was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and I have mentioned that before. Just the perseverance. Yeah. Like, she's shown me to not give up and just keep fighting. And there was always times that she was kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this, and it's so hard. And Kendi and I, my sister, kind of give a push, like, you can't stop fighting, you have to, like, make sure you follow up and whatever. But she, I mean, at this point now, she's on the right medication, and she's able to do day-to-day things. That's and incredible. She's able to drive, and she's able to make a list for groceries or sign cards for us for Christmas or whatever. Yeah. And she didn't give up. Yeah. She didn't lay down and say, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. So yeah, she's, and just like being very caring. She was always the person that took time to say hi or check in with somebody. And it just kind of, it was like a role model, or she was a role model for me to realize that people do appreciate when you do that. Like, we had a neighbor in Florida who was diabetic, and he kind of gave up, just didn't go for walks, didn't take care of himself, things like that. And Mom went over almost every day to make sure that he was doing the things that he needed to do. Yeah. Because she was a nurse when we lived up here. Right. And his legs were really bothering him, and he lost circulation in them. And she went over just to make sure that he was getting up and that he was taking care of himself. And I don't know, like, I didn't go over with her, so I didn't know exactly what she did, but she went over all the time. Yeah. So just that little bit, and I'm that kind of person. Not as much as I would like to be, because we're so busy, but I like to think that I'm that kind of person that checks in with people and makes sure they're okay and whatever.
I like to think that too. I also am not as much as I would like. I can think of 2 people right now that, you know, it would be good. I almost used the word should. But we know I don't like that word. but it would be good if I did go and visit and spend some time. And my mom for sure is the same way. Like she takes time to be with people that need people, you know, which is really commendable. And also, having dealt with the 3 of us, her kids, while Dad was traveling so much, like, oh my gosh, she must have wanted to throw me out the window at least a few times. But we won't get into all that.
That's another day.
That's another topic. But no, Mom has certainly had a major impact on me. She's so thoughtful, and she's so she's kind, and we were having a conversation not too long ago, like all of the nuclear family plus in-laws and kids were all there. And I think, so then we sent the kids away from the table, and it was just the adults. So my brother and sister and I, my brother's wife and my sister's husband, and my parents, and all the kids went and played. And we were having a conversation that had to do with a bigger element of more extended family and how we, as our part, might be able to influence or whatever. I don't want to talk too much about details. Anyways, and I was listening to Mom, and I realized that matriarch is the word for her in so many ways, because she really, people in our family and in her family as well, I believe. I mean, she's not the oldest of all her siblings, but there are many that are younger than her. And she has this leadership, that's not the right word, more like just this maternal nurturing influence on everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody can go to her and feel nurtured. Yeah, that's the word. And like she's the mother, you know what I mean? Like it was kind of a neat moment for me in that conversation, and the word matriarch was used too. It's like, wow, you're the queen. Mm-hmm. You're the queen. That's the word right there. She's the queen of the family. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I mean, growing up, you see your mom as one of the best people in the entire world.
Yeah.
But then
depends what age.
That's true. But it's fascinating when you get older, and you, like for me, Mom lives in Alberta, so she's not here.
Right.
But she knows a lot of people who are here. Like when she was nursing, she worked at the Amherst Hospital. And some people from Oxford have moved to Amherst, and we see them on a regular basis here and like run into them once in a while. But I'll have people come up to me and ask how Mom was, or how she is doing, or whatever. And they start going on about how amazing she is, and they helped her through this hard time, and she was such a great friend. And one of the biggest things is like, she was so much fun, and we used to party, and it was the best. And I'm like, oh my God, my mom a partier. But just to hear, like, confirm your thoughts and feelings about her from other people who you haven't seen in years, but they still feel that way about her. It's just a really cool feeling.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually makes me think of my dad, who obviously has had a huge impact on me. Even just, not even necessarily his impact on me directly, like our relationship, but his public personality, or public presence, I should say, has had an impact on me as well. And it kind of in that regard, like when people in different professions that I've had. So like at one point I was a counselor here in town. When I first moved back, I worked for Deanne for a little bit, and then I had a counseling position at an organization here in Amherst. And sometimes people would ask me, because of my last name, if I was related to